A to Z of Scotland!
F is for football.
The king forbids that no man play at the football under pain of 4 pennies.
In 1424, King James IV made the playing of football in Scotland illegal. Football is an English game which the Scots have claimed as their own. In 1978, the Scottish football team's bid to win the World Cup coincided with the referendum for devolution. Since then, the fate of Scottish football and politics have been inextricably linked.
F is for the FBI tartan, one of the 3,000 new tartans. We now design tartans by computer. We've designed tartans for an Asian family, a French town, a cancer research trust, and the state of New Mexico. This is the McDuck tartan, as worn by Uncle Scrooge, great uncle to Donald Duck and uncle to Huey, Dewey and Louie.
F is for fishing. At the turn of the century, fishing was the biggest employer in Scotland. The main problem with the fishing nowadays is the quotas imposed on us by the European community. For you to catch a 2 tonne a month, you are maybe actually killing 5 tonne, which means that the other 3 tonne are getting dumped dead back into the sea. Now this is not conservation.
G is for golf, possibly taken from the Scots verb to gowf, or to hit hard. The Scots like to think they invented the game, but it was in fact invented by the Dutch, although the Scots are responsible for spreading it throughout the world. In 1457, James II banned the playing of golf in Scotland.
The king decrees that the golf be utterly cried down and not to be used.
G is for Glasgow Kiss. Excuse me, can you tell what Glasgow Kiss is?
Glasgow Kiss? Glasgow Kiss is kind of like, you know...
H is for the heart of Midlothian. When I was a child, I was taken up to the spot by my grandmother and told to spit into it. I don't know where the custom came from, but that's what I was told to do, and that's what I did.
The heart of Midlothian represents the ancient site of public executions in Edinburgh.
And that's why I always spit in it.
H is for haggis. Hello, I'm Willie, and I've been making haggis for approximately 40 years. Now, the ingredients for the haggis are lamb lungs, liver, lamb heart, flank of lamb, a wee touch of this, a wee touch of that, to sweeten the meat up. Put in a boiler for 2 hours, and you add your oatmeal, black pepper, through the filler, and stuffed into ox intestines. Well, vegetarian haggis, to me, isn't haggis. Haggis!
H is for the Highland clearances.
Between 1830 and 1850, an estimated 40,000 people in the Highlands and Islands were evicted from their land to make way for sheep grazing. Contrary to popular belief, they were not forced from their land by the English, but by Scottish clan chiefs and lords.
H is for Hogmanay.
Hogmanay is an Old English word for hug me now.
Holag Monath, Anglo-Saxon for holy month.
Hogmanay comes from the French Hogimene, which means to lead to the mistletoe.
Hoogmandag, Dutch for Great Love Day. Hey!
I is for information technology. With more than 130 call centres in Scotland, we've become the call centre capital of the UK. Customers respond really well to Scottish accents. I think it's because we have a reputation in Scotland for being particularly careful with money.
I is for inventions by Scots. Wellington boots, metal detector, iron brew, bovril, marmalade, the telephone, the television, lawnmowers, Dolly the sheep.
J is for Donegal, the most northerly point on the British mainland, 870 miles from Land's End. Every year, 1,700 people run the length of the country for charity. Some people have done it in a bed, others in a wheelchair, some in a bath.
J is for Jedburgh handball, a cross between basketball, rugby and mud wrestling, played in the border town of Jedburgh. The ball in question was originally the head of an Englishman.
K is for King. Hello, my name is Michael Stewart, HRH Prince Michael of Albany. I'm a public relations consultant and a writer. I'm also the 8th descendant of Bonnie Prince Charlie and head of the Royal House of Stuart. should Scotland become an independent country tomorrow, I should be your rightful king.
K. K is for John Knox, the Calvinist preacher who formed the Church of Scotland in the 16th century. Through an Act of Parliament, he got the Catholic Mass forbidden in Scotland. Calvinism gave Scots the work ethic, sexual repression, and may explain why the Scots have a negative sense of humour.
L is for lingerie. Glaswegians buy more lingerie than anyone else in the UK.
M is for Mars bars, deep fried. Take a Mars bar out of the packet, dip it in batter, then breadcrumbs, batter again, and then fry it in hot oil for about 3 to 4 minutes. Add chips and salt vinegar to taste. We sell about 30 deep fried Mars bars a week, and it's mostly kids.
Baked Alaska.
N is for nose. After his visit to Scotland in 1618, the poet Ben Jonson was sentenced to having his nose cut off for making fun of the Scots.
N is for New Lanark, the mill village built in 1784, where utopian socialist Robert Owen introduced free education, healthcare and decent housing for his employees at the cotton mills. Owen's ideas have inspired the cooperative movement and trade unionism.
O is for oil.
Politicians argue over who owns the oil in the North Sea, but it's worked out well for the Shetland Islanders, who in the 1970s negotiated a levy on every barrel exported. Thanks to BP, they now have more public swimming pools per head of population than anywhere else in the world. P is for Pontius Pilate, said to have been born in the village of Fortingal, Perthshire, where his father, a Roman centurion, was on military service.
Well, P is for pop, and let's take a look at some of the greatest names in Scottish pop. Altered Images, Frankie Miller, Silencers, Jethro Tull with Ian Anderson, Country, BMX Bandits, Billy Mackenzie Skids, Lloyd Cole and the Commotions, Horse, the Teenage Fan Club, Strawberry Switchblade, Lonnie Donegan, and Lulu.
P is for Pictish Free State.
An independent republic autonomous from Scotland and the UK and founded by one Robbie the Pict. Robbie renounced his UK citizenship in 1977 and has since had over 300 prosecutions, in particular for not having a UK tax disc. He claims diplomatic immunity from prosecution.
Q is for Queen Elizabeth I of Scotland, also known as Queen Elizabeth II of England, the Queen. In 1953, the Royal Mail was forced to replace all of their QE2 mailboxes in Scotland because many were defaced and one was even blown up. And they were replaced with the less controversial Scottish crown.
R is for Raj. Raj is Edinburgh vernacular.
You call me a Raj, you wee white what the up?
For an individual prone to violence and unpredictable behaviour.
S is for suicide. Men and women in Scotland are 60% more likely to kill themselves than people in the rest of the UK. The likely reasons for this are alcoholism, unemployment, and climate.
S is for the Stone of Destiny. The Stone of Destiny was the stone on which Scottish kings were traditionally crowned. There's a stone up in that castle behind me, but almost everyone in Scotland thinks that it's the wrong stone.
We do not know its origins.
Nobody knows whether the profoundly uninteresting object is the true stone or something which might originally have been used as a cesspit cover.
It is finally back to the place where it belongs.
The A to Z of Scotland!
S is for shipbuilding. 1 in 6 boats built in the world were once launched from the Clyde. Since the 1950s, the workforce has diminished from 45,000 to 4,000. T is for tartan, on the moon. The first tartan on the moon was the McBean tartan, as worn by Alan Bean on the Apollo lunar mission in November 1969. U is for uranium.
This here is Dounreay. It's Scotland's Sellafield. The government use it to store nuclear waste.
In 1998, a Dounreay scientist admitted that they had mislaid 80 kilograms of uranium.
Enough to build 4 nuclear bombs.
V is for Valentine.
The relics of St. Valentine, the saint usually associated with romance, are housed and displayed here at the Church of Blessed John Duns Scotus in the Gorbals.
W is for William Wallace.
Hi, my name's Andrew Wallace. I'm from Atlanta. I have a brother named William.
I'm here to see the William Wallace Monument because I love the movie Braveheart.
Braveheart, the movie, certainly has instilled a lot of Scots pride into the Scots people.
William Wallace is famous for his Battle of Stirling Bridge in 1297 and was executed in London by being hung, drawn and quartered in 1305.
Ironically, the new monument to Wallace has met a similar fate. It has recently been decapitated by persons unknown who may have objected to the monument's resemblance to Mel Gibson.
W is for Women Wanted. On certain Western Isles, men outnumber women to such a degree that European funds have been granted to help attract women to the area.
Exit for xenophobia.
As an English person living in the Highlands, I've never suffered any open racist abuse, but I have spoken to several English incomers who have been openly shunned by their neighbours. It's really easy to understand why Scots might feel like this because of history all the way from Culloden to the poll tax. I just hope that Scottish sense of victimisation might evaporate with the coming of the Scottish Parliament.
Y is for yum yum.
Yum yum.
Yum yum.
A Scottish donut with no hole.
Z is for zero tolerance.
From 3 to 93 women are raped.
Zero Tolerance started in Edinburgh in 1992 and has inspired campaigns worldwide. It's the first campaign in Europe to use the mass media to raise public awareness about male violence against women and children.
Z is for Zavaroni.
Hi, is that Lena Zavaroni, the 70s pop star who came from an Italian ice cream family from Rossi on the Isle of Bute, and whose most famous single was Mama, He's Making Eyes at Me?
Oh, sorry.